Neighborhood Gods Unlimited is a conceptually rich journey. It's framed as broadcast from a fictional low-budget cable channel, dark comedy television, filled with surreal humor, personal trauma, and digital age existential unease, let's call it. It's gonna be 14 albums on this project by Open Mike Eagle. This joint is 38 minutes long on a listen. Um, the this is like a diary like storytelling. Um, and it's very imaginative. Um you have to come into this thing using your imagination because Eagle is one of these rappers, right? Where he is a um cerebral thinker. He has a track right here. We talked about winning the spelling bee in school. I ain't even gonna try to pronounce that word that he's Saskatchewan. This and I don't even know what that word is. I have to look it up. But like he he's not like what was it called? What was that one dude's name? Was it bus driver? I think his name is. Where it's just like reading out of the dictionary, just like random words. No, he tells stories. He makes sense. He uses unique words and unique metaphors and unique visualizations that we haven't thought of before. But to talk about like real world stuff that he like goes through, that he's gone through, he's funny. He's a bit of comedian. His comedy is like is almost Euro because it's kind of like a dry humor. Um, I find it to be kind of like a dry humor. He has a YouTube channel where he doesn't necessarily review stuff all the time. He has commentary on stuff on projects and some some pop cultural stuff that goes on. So he'll do that. A couple of the dope tracks to check out if you're gonna dive into this project is starting off from the very first joint. Woke up knowing everything. Oh my God, the production on this thing. The production on this thing. If Screwface was on this album, I'm not, on this particular track at least, right? I think that would have been like a dope collab. Maybe they could do a remix of that joint, just like the way that Screw flows in his style of it's almost he's almost like a what's this guy? Oh, West Coast dang, what's this dude's name? Anyway, it would be dope if Screwface could would have made an appearance on here, or if maybe there could be a remix with Screwface Jean on that joint. Um, one of the bars on there, by the way, so I did earlier I talked about RSVP, I mean RIP, RSVP. I talked about RIP Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy Osbourne. And also mentioned that Hulk Hogan died. I didn't mention that Hulk Hogan died. Yeah, so that nigga died. And he has a bar on here talking about Hulk Hogan. And I mentioned all the people that previously died recently. We have Malcolm Jamal Warner, RIP. We have Ozzy Osbourne, also just passed away from a heart attack. Um, was that Ozzy died of a heart attack? Or died, wait, I don't remember. Maybe Hulk I think Hulk Hogan died of a heart attack. Hulk Hogan died. Hulk Hogan died. And he has a bar on here that goes, Hogan said nigga, but I guess that's what y'all call a real American. Randomly threw that bar in there, right? Just like who was thinking about Hulk Hogan anytime recently? Nobody was thinking about him until he just died. But before then, who was thinking about like what? How did he make an appearance on your project? But that nigga did. Um, and he was racist. So it sucks because as a kid, you know what I mean, Hulkamania was, you know what I mean, we watched wrestling and he was such a beloved figure, and then to realize what he was like really really feeling on the inside. I mean, could I put in the video? I'm gonna look for the video. I'm gonna look for the video, and maybe I'll put it in.
I'm not a double standard type guy. I'm a racist to a point. Yeah. You know, fucking weird. But then when it comes to nice people, you know, I mean,
well, we all are that way.
was just a racist, and um, it sucks that that's what he was in the background. The inner me, the inner child in me, would you know what I mean wants to feel bad about it, but when you know better, you do better, and fuck them. So another dope track I definitely recommend check it out is my coworker Clark Kent's Secret Black Box. Bruh, that's the title of the track. My coworker Clark Kent's Secret Black Box. And this one is a standout because of this, like it's a whole allegorical sort of moment in the album. So let's check out some of these lyrics here. I got this one coworker, Clark Kent. He worked on his first assignment and he exited with perfect timing. Whenever aliens assault the island, can't nobody in the office find him. Like it's all just happenstances that whenever he go he go back to Kansas, it means aliens attack Manhattan. And the person that defends the island, it's him without the hat and the glasses. He's weird and he acts distracted. He be here, then he has to vanish. And that's some weird shit to have to manage for us schmucks at the Daily Planet. Like that brings it like home, right? Like, no, we're talking about that Superman. He must think we all some bozos, just gossiping and driving Volvos. We struggling not to get laid off. He outproducing us in slow mo. Bruh, that is so hilarious to me. Talk about the comedian in him, and you should hear he's like dead serious in this project when he's like reciting this. And I'm like, yeah, 'cause I feel like I work at the Daily Planet, but I was like, I didn't think about that. As in, like, bruh, this dude, if I was, how many times this dude just like leaves work middle of the day or doesn't show up? I would have been fired. I would have been out of there. Would have been got my black ass up out of there. But they got this dude coming in, disappearing in middle meetings. We going over the quarterly reports, and this dude is just like, "Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom," and just never comes back. Anybody else notice that when he ever comes back, like we suddenly have that alarm that go off that be like, you know what I mean? Oh, warning, warning, alien invasion, warning. Every time this dude dip, somehow the buildings just fall. Like he don't never be here. We do the fire drill thing. We do the fire drill thing. We all go outside. We do the name check. You know how we did the fire drill? Like who's all here present? Okay, everybody's accounted for. Nobody's stuck in the building. How this nigga Clark Kent ain't never here for the check in? For the check in though, right? We got people going back in the building searching to see if he that fool up in there. Meanwhile, this nigga flying around the city, fucking with some goddamn alien joint or whatever. I actually just saw the recent Superman movie um that just came out, and it's interesting. They it's not the best Superman movie that's ever made, but I like the way that they approached it to be a little bit closer to the comics. Um, they were going for I don't know. I feel like they were going for a little bit of Shazam. It was giving Shazam, really, really though. It was trying to like lean into that Shazam audience. They didn't quite execute it as well as Shazam does it because you know what you're getting when you go watch Shazam. You know what I mean? This is like grown man, a child in a grown man's body. So it already leans comedy, but these comics, Superman and Batman had a lot of comedy in them when they were originally written. Um, and so they were trying to go that route instead of making them so dark as they did in the previous movies. And they didn't stick the landing everywhere, but so it was okay. It was watchable. But fascinating that Open Mike Eagles explores that, right, that work dynamic. But um another lyric in there is I got this one coworker, Clark Kent. So he goes, hiding in plain cubicle. He acts so unusual. He makes some shit called art rap. It's probably high school musicals. Yeah, we know you got a show to do. I saw your MySpace bulletin and the lack of effort you put in. You've written raps on work time. That whole time, card full of shit. We all, he's like that whole time card full of shit. We all had shit we could have did. It gets personal here. He switches it up on us and like, wait a minute, we talking about Clark Kent. We talking about you. And so it turns out, I guess we're talking about him because what he's doing here is so Clark Kent into Superman is one of the things that they didn't do that I wish they did in the movie a little bit more is that they explored Clark Kent more. I wish they would make a Superman movie that had just, I mean, the storyline would be so epic, I think, if they would do a movie where it was like 80% Clark Kent and like a true the anxiety that he feels of and the paranoia that he feels. He's trying his best to actually hide his identity, all that stuff. The internal struggles of being stronger, more powerful than everybody. But like when you're Clark Kent, you can't do that. You can't show that because, and then eventually you get in a relationship with like, what is love? I'm a super being. Can I just, maybe he even goes through a conversation, internal dialogue of like using his, taking a woman by force because can't nobody stop him. Who gonna do anything about it? But he has to make a decision internally and maturely of like not going down that dark path. It would be so dope to see that movie if they made a movie like that. And then show like 20-30% of Superman, of him having to do some Superman stuff. So we could still see that. No, this is still Superman. This is his powers. Like this is how strong he really is. And drive that point home, kind of thing. But it's all of this thing. That open mic is exploring here is this same metaphor that like we have like as 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 individuals. There's this other side of us that is being just like stifled and that is just being drained in this fucking corporate structure bullshit in this damn rat race. There's art to be had. There's art to be explored. There's self exploration to be had. There's this part of us that like he's talking about writing at work. He's writing raps at work. That whole time card says that you're doing their thing that they want you to do. They're on their time. He's actually putting and investing time into this art that he feels inside him. So that's speaking within himself to try to at least get it out a little bit. But there's like all of this other stuff that we would be doing with ourselves, with our time. Even if we did have to have a job, it's like if they didn't require so much of us, we could be exploring all kinds of other aspects of our own existence. We are here just for such a short time, and half of that, man, more than half. Think about your day. Think about your day. You you drive, especially if you live in a city like the DC metropolitan area. Your drive or your commute, whether you're taking the train, whatever it is, it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours to get there, and then another hour and a half to 2 hours to get back. Split the difference, call it 3 hours of your day, right there. You gotta sleep, so you go to sleep, and it's like 7 hours. Call it 10 hours gone right there. You gotta go to this office. 8 hours, 9 hours. Some people don't get a hour lunch of your day. So maybe you get 30 minute lunch, 30 minute break. Either way, your time between 11 p.m., 10 p.m. to 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Your time is accounted for. You from sleep to commute to work to back to the crib. Your time is accounted for. You get home 6 p.m. and you gotta go to bed at 10. That's 4 hours left for what the fuck you got going on. These weekends be packed, boy. You gotta get a lot of stuff in on that weekend because during the week you got about 4 hours to yourself. Don't let them have kids. You have kids? She. You trying to write a book? You crazy? You trying to have a side project? You trying to scratch that artistic itch? That's tough. That's asking a lot. You gotta be Superman to fucking get that shit done. He flew past again. He flew past again. He says in the thing like that's time, just flying past again. Another day flew past again. The potential of your Superman, your superpower, flew past again. because we just like wasting away, push him Mephistos, right? It's one of the tracks that he got on this joint. Show the Mephistos or what is it called? Broken. What's the name? The track is called Damn, what's this track called? Me and Akil stealing stuff from work, right? So that's a whole story arc right there. I definitely recommend checking that out. But also even in the form of Superman, he had to feel some alienation at work. He's different. He's brilliant. He's powerful, and he's got to conform to like y'all regular old 9 to 5, 8 to 6, or 9 to 5, 8 to 4, whatever that setup that y'all got going on there. Um, that whole thing wears people down. That whole thing wears down that passion that you have for anything else outside of that damn wall. I mean, you're trying to go up the corporate structure because you need more money, you need more, you can have another kid or something like that, you need more resources. I get it. But there's some hidden selves. This black box that we're talking about that Clark Kent has, um, where he's got this power, he's got this creativity in that black box, and that thing is just collecting dust because we out here just making somebody else hyper wealthy. And it ain't even gotta be all about wealth, but there's wealth in your creativity. There's wealth in your self-expression. The wreck that committing to that corporate life does to our individuality is is a tragedy that we universal basic income, universal basic income, but not enough people care about creativity, about art that will get that shit across the finish line. It just ain't happening. Not in these United States. We're at late stage capitalism at this point, and um, good luck pushing that rock up that hill. Essentially, Neighborhood Gods Unlimited encourages listeners to embrace that journey, though. Um, it reminds me of the one track where he's got a bunch of music and potential projects on his cell phone, and he dropped it. What is that joint called? Um, he dropped it and the phone crack and everything, and uh, I can't recall what that project is, what that track is called, but it he drops his phone and all his stuff that he was working on, his voice notes and stuff like that was lost, and he brings in the example of was the Wu Tang project. Who was that? Um, that is a similar project that um it's Wu Tang. It might have been Ghostface. I think it was Ghostface that his basement flooded and he had a bunch of art, his words, his plans in his basement. His basement flooded, gone. Never to be seen again. Maybe he might have like conjured up pieces of it in his spirit when he went back into the booth. Um, but what he had is that whatever that exact thing was, it's gone. So a couple of takeaways that I got from this thing, um, and maybe you feel the same. Let me know what you listen to the project. Let me know what you think in the end. But like one for sure is invest your energy into your stuff as much as you can. Find a way to structure your work day, or just like, no, I'm not going to that company meeting. I'm not going to that company picnic, or maybe that Christmas party. Um, Christmas party is fine because you bring your significant other. That's still kind of like you time. You know what I mean? And they get to see a window. It's kind of like that that show Severance, where they get to kind of see, oh, this is what work you is like. This is what because you're gonna be around your coworkers and stuff. So maybe there's some value in that. But like the company, oh, happy hour type stuff. Like, no, I gotta get home to my family. I gotta get home to my hobbies. I gotta get home to stuff that like bump all the elbow scratching, you know what I mean? All the elbow rubbing, right? Rubbing elbows and all that kind of stuff. Bump that. So that's one. That's one takeaway. The second one is the big one for me. Is like, don't be afraid to put out your art. At some point, Superman put on that cape. He had to go do what it do. It was calling him. It was calling to him. He couldn't stay Clark Kent forever. And 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 you be hearing that calling. You hear that whisper. You hear that voice that tells you, "Yo, you got 5 minutes. You got an hour. You know what I mean? What about this weekend? Let's put some time aside. Just to do our thing, to whatever fills our cup, whatever that thing may be." For me, I'm writing a book right now, a novel, and so I'm like, yeah, if I don't go do this other thing that I don't got to do, like I could put that time towards my art and then eventually put that shit out into the universe. See what the universe brings back for you. Don't be afraid to put it out. That's why you have that burning. It ain't, you won't just, if you are making the type of art that's supposed to be consumed, and by consumed, I don't mean in the corporate way. I don't mean in the mass consumption capitalist way. I'm talking about like, man, you got some stuff in your head that you want the world to see. That type of art, put it out. Don't sit on it. I know people that like, they got ideas. They got a bunch of ideas. They may even follow through with some of those ideas and put pen to pad, put that shit on wax, and but they just won't put it out. I bumble and stumble through this shit all the time. There was a clip of me crying through this bitch. I ain't. Who am I? I put out the art. Fuck it. Something, like I have a strong Field of Dreams vibe about me, about what I do here. Like if you build it, they will come. People who rock with your shit, who fuck with shit, they will find you. This is what it looks like getting it out the mud. Those little view counts, those far and few between comments and likes, building it one brick at a time. That's fine. I'm willing to go through that. Another takeaway that reminds me of another takeaway is that first track. I woke up knowing everything. Is it? I know I woke up knowing everything. Why do I have the junk out of order? I almost broke my nickel. No, I had the. I woke up. Come on, man. Go back to this. Okay, yeah. Woke up knowing everything. And what what that means is you're not you gotta put in that work. If you don't take the time for yourself towards that art, towards that project, whatever that thing may be, you gotta put in those hours. Malcolm Gladwell talked about those 10,000 hours. You gotta put in that time. There's just no, the only way is through. There's no shortcuts to this, right? And I woke up knowing everything. Envisions this guy who just like Neo in the Matrix, where you're like, he suddenly like, plugged him in. He came out that joint. Oh, I know kung fu. Like nigga, you know how long it took me to learn kung fu? And you just sat in this chair and then you like plugged in and like you locked in like 5 minutes. Now you know kung fu. It wasn't even 5 minutes. It was like seconds. Morpheus leaned over and was like, "Show me," right? And like the nigga knew kung fu. Like, what the fuck? He knew even the muscle memory of it and everything. He was like a pro. Like Morpheus still beat him. You know what I mean? But like Morpheus had more practice with the muscles and the joints and whatnot. But this nigga will just woke up knowing everything. It ain't gonna happen, my G. It ain't happening for you. It ain't happening for me. You gotta put in that time. You gotta put in that time and put it and one and then two, put that shit out. You put that shit out, you get critique, you get feedback, you get your own like view. You look at the thing yourself, and you're like, oh, that's what I sound like, that's what I look like. This is where I can improve on. It takes it's rough. Um, you gotta get it from the dirt. This I love the part where he's like, he finds it so absurd. This Neo joint, right? This Neo metaphor that I'm kind of like stretching out here. Um, and he's like, he ends the album with, he ends the track with, I saw this nigga yesterday. He was dumb as rocks yesterday. Like I saw it. Like what did he say? He said. What is it? I know. I saw him. I saw him. He was dumb as rocks yesterday. But like he had to repeat it. He paused for a second, let the beat rap a little bit, and he repeated. He said he was dumb as rocks yesterday. How'd he do it? Right? How'd he do it? Like show me where I could just plug in. You know what I mean, and know everything. But bro, last time I checked, that joint wasn't available. That joint in the Matrix was not available. You gotta get that bit out of the mud. So start. You gotta start now. You gotta start now. So that's my big takeaway from. So shout out to Open Mic for putting that so succinctly for me. Well, a little bit roundabout way came through a metaphor of Superman, um, or Clark Kent to be precise. But the other lesson is back your shit up in the cloud. Once you put all that work in for all them hours for this one, you're like, it's got me on. You know, I got to go check in my on this novel and make sure that my shit is backed up the way it's supposed to be because he had a breakdown when his cell phone got ran over because he had art on that joint. He had his project on. This project probably wouldn't even be sounding the same if you had that joint. So you know what? Go check your cloud right now. And while you're at it, uh, give this joint a spin. Neighborhood Gods Unlimited. Open my ego. Shoot, freaking Pitchfork gave this dude a 8.5. Pitchfork get that boy an 8.5. So you know, and I rocks with Pitchfork. Uh, I don't even think they gave Clips album an 8. I don't think they give Clips album is album of the year. They're gonna win that award, album of the year, and they didn't give that one. So this joint is that good. It's a it's one of these avant-garde type of like situations. So it ain't gonna have the commercial success. Mike also doesn't have the visibility, but it's a good project. Man, the joint is one of the best things that he's ever put out. So do yourself a favor and give it multiple listens in different spaces. Like lock in on it, but also um play it as background music also. And see how that like fill a room with it and see how that makes you vibe to because it's all a vibe and I'm here for it. Shout out to Open My Eagle. Check him out on YouTube. Also, he has his channel on there. And there's a interview that he does with Professor Sky, which is dope to see. Like, oh man, two YouTube icons of mine in the music space that I look up to, collaborating for him to review uh, Eagles project. It was made for me. So uh, let me know what you think about that when you check it out, that review, and let me know what you think about uh, what I talked about here with Open Mic. Am I stretching it too much? You know what I mean? Am I pulling at, you know what I mean? Am I, what do you call it? It's tilting at windmills, if you will. But I dig it, and I think that it's a welcome addition to his catalog.